It was supposed to be another intense matchup between two teams that already had plenty of history. Instead, one play involving Sophie Cunningham and DiJonai Carrington completely changed the mood inside the arena. And what happened afterward made the controversy even bigger. Sophie Cunningham was running in transition with a clear path toward the basket. The defense was behind her, the lane was opening up, and Cunningham looked ready to finish the play. Then Carrington caught up from behind and made heavy contact as Cunningham went toward the rim. The contact immediately grabbed everyone's attention. Cunningham still managed to complete the shot, but when she got back to her feet, the frustration was obvious. Players moved toward each other, teammates stepped in, and officials quickly separated everyone before the confrontation could escalate. Then the referees went to the replay monitor. That was the moment everybody in the building started waiting for the same question. Was this just an aggressive basketball play, or had Carrington crossed the line? After reviewing the footage, the officials upgraded the foul to a Flagrant 2 and ejected Carrington from the game. The decision was clear enough. They considered the contact unnecessary and excessive. And suddenly, Carrington was done for the night. Cunningham got her free throws, Indiana kept possession, and you might have expected the controversy to slowly disappear as the game continued. Instead, it followed both teams for the rest of the night. Cunningham later made it clear that she didn't view the contact as something that should simply be brushed aside. She questioned the play and suggested the aggression felt unnecessary, especially because she said she had never really had a personal relationship with Carrington. But then the story took another turn. After being ejected, Carrington made a social media post that brought an entirely different issue into the conversation. She used the phrase, "white privilege," and tagged the Fever's account. Now this wasn't just about a foul anymore. Fans were arguing about the contact, the ejection, the social media post, Cunningham's response, and the history between these teams. And once social media got involved, everyone had an opinion. Some fans defended Carrington and argued that the play was being blown out of proportion. Others believed the Flagrant 2 was completely justified and felt the social media post made the situation even more provocative. Cunningham, meanwhile, rejected the idea that the incident was about race and pushed back against that interpretation. And that created the perfect storm for a rivalry that already had plenty of attention surrounding it. But here's where the story gets interesting. Indiana had a decision to make. They could spend the rest of the night arguing with Chicago. They could respond to the controversy with another hard foul. They could let the emotions take over. Instead, the Fever did something. One controversial play changed the entire night. Sophie Cunningham was running toward the basket with a clear path to the rim when DiJonai Carrington came from behind and made heavy contact as Cunningham went up for the shot. Cunningham still managed to finish the play, but the second she got back on her feet, the mood inside the arena completely changed. Players rushed toward each other, officials stepped in, and suddenly everyone was waiting for the replay. The referees reviewed the contact and upgraded it to a Flagrant 2, ending Carrington's night with an ejection. But that was only the first chapter, because what happened after Carrington left the court turned one controversial basketball play into a much bigger story. And while everyone was focused on the drama, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell were about to make their own statement. Carrington was already out of the game, but the conversation was getting louder. She later posted "white privilege" on social media and tagged the Fever's account. And almost immediately, fans started debating what the message meant and whether it was connected to the earlier incident. Cunningham pushed back against the idea that the play was about race, saying she viewed it as a basketball issue. Suddenly, the discussion wasn't just about a foul anymore. It was about the post, the rivalry, the reactions from both sides, and what might happen the next time these teams met. And that is exactly where Indiana could have lost focus. Instead, they went the opposite direction. They played. Caitlin Clark came back onto the court with the kind of pressure that follows her into practically every game. But now there was another layer to it. Her teammate had just been involved in a heated incident. Chicago was playing with emotion, and every possession suddenly felt more important. Clark didn't need to say anything. She let the basketball do the talking. She started creating opportunities, attacking gaps, moving the defense, and finding teammates whenever Chicago sent extra attention toward her. The Sky knew Clark was the player they couldn't allow to get comfortable, so they began adjusting their coverage. But that created another problem. Kelsey Mitchell. While the attention stayed on Clark, Mitchell kept attacking. And once Mitchell started getting into rhythm, Chicago suddenly had two guards they couldn't afford to leave open. That's what made Indiana so difficult to defend. If Chicago stayed locked onto Clark, Mitchell had room to operate. If Chicago chased Mitchell, Clark could create. And if the Sky tried to overload one side of the floor, Indiana could move the ball until somebody else found an opening. The controversy had started with a collision, but now the Fever were turning the game into a basketball problem Chicago couldn't solve. Mitchell was especially dangerous because she didn't need the ball for long to hurt a defense. Give her a little space, and she could attack. Give her a clean catch,